cord. Okay, so we are gonna do start out with our spine on the roller or a rolled up blanket. So if you want to grab that, and you can lay down. I always say the hardest part is getting on and getting off. um, but you just want to make sure that your head is fully supported, okay? And then just have your dumbbells within like arm's reach distance because we are going to use them in a second. But once you arrive on the roller, just invite your spine and your body to settle in. Notice the different parts of your spine touching the roller, pelvis, any parts of your low back, mid back, upper back that are in contact. And then definitely want to be feeling the back of your head. If for some reason your neck doesn't like this position, just add some washcloths or towels or something behind your neck for a little bit of support, and that should definitely help. Okay, and then you can always just fold up your blanket, like I said too, and use that instead. Okay, so once you arrive here, okay, I want you to spread your toes. So think about like lifting your 10 toes, spreading them apart, and then letting them just kind of melt onto your mat. Okay, and then let's go arms up here, and we'll bias a little bit more of a rounded spine position here. So what I want you to do is do a little pelvic tuck. So that means your imaginary belt buckle tilts towards your face. And when you do that, you don't squeeze your butt. Okay, so when you do that, it's coming, you want to do it and feel your hamstrings, basically your hamstrings and your lower belly, not your glutes just clenching. Okay, and then your arms are reaching up and your shoulder blades are wrapping around your rib cage. So we're going to inhale, fill up your back ribs. Exhale, reach those arms up. Keep pulling your rib cage into the back into the roller as your shoulders reach up. And then keep gently dragging your heels towards your butt as you stay tucked under in your pelvis. So you want as much of your low back and like mid back to touch the roller as you can. Your shoulder blades will be up and off. Okay. We'll do like maybe 3-4 more breaths here. Make sure you're not shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears so much. They're more like wrapping around the rib cage. They're not hiking up towards the ears like a ton or anything like that. It's not that we want the upper traps to take over. Good. So then I want you to let your shoulder blades kind of come down so they're not reaching up so much. And then visualize or feel your mid back area on your roller, that like kind of bra strap area. Visualize that, kind of keep it connected to the roller, and then just start to reach your arms back as far as you can without that area popping up. As far as you can without that area popping up. Okay, so that's going to be a little different for everyone. You don't want the ribs to flare up and out of your body. Okay, from there, you can let yourself tip your pelvis. I don't necessarily want to say forward, but you don't have to press your low back into the roller as much. You want there to be a little space. And now keep that, and you'll breathe in. Exhale. Reach your arms back. See if you can find some core contraction happening as you breathe out. We're still gently dragging the heels to the butt, but now your front of your body is more open. It's in a more lengthened position. Okay, we're still looking for some hamstrings, but it's a different pelvis position, and it's actually like a bit of a different rib cage position as well. Yeah, good. And there's length through the shoulders and the arms. It's a nice reach back. Good. So now it's like, how long can you get through your torso? There's a little space, a natural low back curvature at that low back here. 1 or 2 more breaths. Awesome. Okay. We're going to go grab a dumbbell. We're actually just going to do, I don't think I'm going to do this. Yeah, we're just going to do one exercise on the roller, and then we're going to come off it actually. So stick your dumbbell in your right hand, and I actually want you to play with, if you can, let's see if this is going to be a really hard challenge. Yeah. Okay. It's going to be a really hard challenge. So option to keep your left arm reaching up, or option to bring your left arm down by your side. If you feel like you're going to roll off your roller, just bring the left hand down. Okay. I might have to do that at some point, but it might be fun, interesting to challenge ourselves a little bit, potentially. So if you're able to, or start out that way, both arms are up, but your right hand has the dumbbell. And now both feet are down, okay? Both feet are down. And what we're going to work on is trying to, and you might want to walk your feet closer together. That might help you a little bit, but we're going to try our best to pick your left foot up and extend your left leg forward as you reach your right arm back. It is possible. It is possible. But like I said, you want to bring your feet closer together and drag your right heel towards your butt. And then see if you can do that maybe like 5 times. So you might have to find your balance again. You might have to really connect to your core. Okay. You just reach that left leg forward, right arm back, and then you bring your left foot down. So we're not bringing the left leg all the way up here. You get to bring the left foot down. But you can also just do this exact same thing with your left hand on the ground. Okay. So like I said, you decide. It's okay to wobble a bit. Your body will have to adjust. And I am using my right foot quite a bit. Like my hamstring is working. It does help, I think, to kind of give your core a little bit of a brace as you reach. It does help with the balance situation. Okay. So maybe 5, 6 of those, and then switch hands, stick it in the left hand. Okay. And again, I think feet a little closer together is easier. Think of your left heel dragging towards your butt, and then try it on the other side. So one side might be a lot easier than the other side. That happens with stuff like this sometimes. Good. And you can always feel free to do it with your right hand on the ground if you have to. Okay, so a little bit of a challenge here today with this. Try to keep like your face, your neck, your jaw all pretty relaxed. When something's hard like this, we don't want to start gripping with areas that aren't optimal. So that would be like clenching your jaw, squeezing your face. And it might be like a little scary at first, and then you might be like, oh, okay, I got one, you know? It's that kind of a thing. Nice job. Okay. So there's a little, that was just a quick beginning on the roller, and then you can just come right off of it and put it aside. This core exercise I want to do, I think is better to do off the roller. So we'll arrive on our backs, maybe do a couple of windshield wipers, see what that feels like now without having the roller there. And then you're going to grab that same dumbbell, but place it in both hands. Place it in both hands, and then just kind of feel that mid-back bra strap area again. And now keep that glued. That's really important here. And we are going to start to reach back, but I only want you to go as far back as you don't flare the front ribs and you don't lift the mid-back off the ground. So the arms could go all the way back next to your ears, but they might only go to like here. Okay. You're going to have to see what works for you. But either way, the dumbbell's behind us, which is a challenging position for it. Okay. Then we're going to reach both legs straight up. It's okay if your knees aren't all the way straight, but just move them as straight as feels okay in your body. And then pull your toes towards your face. And we'll go exhale, lower one leg towards the ground. Inhale the leg back up. Exhale, other leg towards the ground. Inhale back up. Exhale both legs towards the ground. Inhale back up. So it's a challenging, like eccentric core variation. Okay, so it's one leg, the other leg, and then both legs. Or you could skip the both legs. If you feel like you lose your position, or your back arches a ton or something, then you want to just skip the both legs and just alternate single leg. Okay, we're exhaling as the leg goes down. Okay, if it gets to be too hard, there's multiple ways you could make it easier. You could bring your dumbbell over your chest. Okay, having it back here is mostly why this is so challenging, right? So that would probably be the best way to make this easier. Okay, and then as far as your lower back, like, you don't need to be smashing it into the ground, but you don't, like I said, you don't want to arch it either. Look for that like happy medium, or some of you might need to tuck a little. Some of you might need to untuck a little. Good. That's probably enough. That's a tough one. Nice job. And then just relax. let's draw one or both knees in towards the chest, and we'll do some like alternating circles here, just kind of feeling into the hips, feeling the low back gently pressing into the mat. And you can do both sides. Great. Okay. Grab that foam roller one more time. We're going to stick it under the feet, and then we'll change shape. So we're going to go, we're going to combine some hamstring work and some rotational work. Because we did a lot of like good core stuff and some breathing to warm up, but now I just want to get a little rotation, a little hamstring. So options for your left foot on this roller, it's just going to be one foot on the roller. Options would be the arch of the foot, like the middle of the foot. That's probably a little bit easier. The other option would be to do the ball of the foot, but you don't need to force your heel to be up super high. You can kind of just let the heel chill. That might feel better for some of you. It's going to depend on like your ankle and your foot. So you might even just try one or two right now and see which one you like better, either middle of the foot or ball of the foot on the roller. And then you can kind of decide which one you want. So what we're going to do is push into that left foot, right knees in towards you. We're going to think tuck and roll. So tuck the pelvis and roll the hips up a little bit. I don't want you to go super high. Like don't give it a full effort in terms of how high you lift. And then I want you to cross connect left elbow towards right knee and pause and take a breath in. Good. And then I want you to exhale as you reach your leg forward and your arm back. So cross connect. I'm kind of rolling onto the right side of my head a little, breathing in as I reach across, and then exhale as I open them. Now, I just did two and my left hamstring's on fire. And I don't want to hold my hips up anymore. So I just brought my hips down and I'm doing the same thing with my hips on the ground, and I'm tucking my pelvis and I still have a ton of hamstring. So that might be you. Like you don't actually have to keep your hips lifted this whole time to get a lot out of it. Okay. Or maybe you bring them down for a few reps and then you lift them up again. But it's really hard to hold these hips up like that the whole time. It's totally up to you. And it will depend also on your foot position. Probably a little easier, like I said, if you're in the middle of your foot versus the ball of the foot. Good. Just like that. So we're rotating when we cross connect and then just reaching the arm back, the leg forward. Nice job. That's probably plenty. And then go ahead. You can kind of gently rub behind this left leg, kick the heel back there. Just make sure the blood's flowing well. Great. And then we'll do the other side. So you decide what foot position you want, either ball of the foot or arch of the foot, left knee into chest. Okay, hips come up just a bit. We don't need to go crazy. Tilt that belt buckle towards your face. Now, I kind of roll onto the left side of my head. I could also pick my head up. I didn't even mention that, but you could pick your head up if that works okay for your neck, but you don't have to. So you're reaching elbow and knee towards each other and then reaching them away from each other. Reach, breathing in, exhale as they reach away. And then, like I said, you decide how long you keep your hips up for. I just brought my low back to the ground. My tailbone is a little lifted and I still have a ton of hamstring. So just something to keep in mind. It's not like wrong or not as good if you do this with your hips still on the ground. As long as you have that back of the leg hamstring working, you're all set. Okay. And then emphasize this right shoulder blade reaching around the rib cage. I do want you to that's where we want this rotation to come from. The rib cage is rotating to the left, pulling back towards the floor as the shoulder blade is reaching forward. Great job. Nice. Okay. That'll warm up that hamstring. Good. And then you can kick the heel back there. Awesome job. Okay. Let's flip and you can come onto your right side. I'll come onto my left. We'll do a little bit of side planking and grab an optional dumbbell. So you can do it with or without. I'll just show it to you with, but you don't have to use it. So you're on your right forearm. We've got the knees stacked and the feet tucked in behind us a bit. Okay. Optional dumbbell in the left hand. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is you're gonna lift your hips and pop open the knee and the arm. My arm, elbows at about 90 degrees, and I've just opened everything up. Yep, sternum is turned away from the floor. Now I'm gonna rotate my sternum towards the floor, rotate my hips a bit towards the floor so they move together, and then I'm gonna pop open, okay? So when I'm rotating towards the floor, I'm not actually bringing my hips down, they're lowering a little, they're not actually touching the ground, and then I wanna drive through that bottom leg to lift them up. If you needed to bring them down, like you needed the rest or whatever, that's fine. You could bring your hips down and then pop up from there. But if you're able to leave them lifted, just rotate towards the ground and then try to drive through the outer edge of that right leg. Like that right leg is key. We should be starting to get some good right glute. But you do lower a little bit towards the ground, rotate towards the floor, and then pop up and open up away from the floor. Good. Beautiful. And then when your body starts giving you those signals, like the arm or the shoulder might be done first, the glute might be done first, whatever, and then you can just kind of swirl it out. Take a second. Beautiful. And we'll come on to the left. All right, so same idea. Optional dumbbell in the right hand, knees stacked, feet tucked in. Okay, so when you pop up, you're driving through the outer edge of your left leg, elbows at 90 degrees, and we're opening up. So my sternum and my pelvis are facing away from the ground. Now, as I lower towards the ground to kind of a hip hover, I turn my sternum and my pelvis towards the floor, and then I pop up. It's also okay if you want to bring your hips all the way down. That's fine too. But you can think of like, we didn't talk about speed, but it's kind of cool to go slow down and then really pop up and open quick. Yeah. So it's like kind of like slow eccentric on the way down and then very like fast on the way up, driving through the outer edge of that left leg. Slow down, popping up. The more you can get in touch with the outer edge of that left leg, the better. Good. Maybe one more. Beautiful. And then hips down. Something for a little bit of a reset. Very nice. And then grab your yoga blocks. We'll stick them under the hands. Come into tabletop. Okay. So from table, spread those palms out. Okay. Shoulders are over hands. Hips are over knees. Go through a few pelvic tilts here, tucking and untucking. And maybe like a few like tail wags. So that's like if you had a tail, you're kind of wagging it left and right. So think like left hip moves towards left shoulder, right hip moves towards right shoulder. See if you can move your pelvis more laterally like that. Yep. And then once you do both of those, go for more of an untuck, and then rock the hips back. Think of your glutes like spreading apart. Okay. The knees are kind of pulling the mat apart. And then you're rocking forward, collarbones facing forward. Rocking back, pull the mat apart, rocking forward. Let's do one more. And then we're going to switch to like a single arm variation of this. So you're going to take your right hand, reach it between your knees, and reach it towards your left ankle. So my right hand is reaching between my legs towards my left ankle. And then I'm going to rock forward and reach my right arm alongside my right ear. And then I'm going to go right back. So it's going to turn out to be like a core shoulder challenge as you come forward. Really hold on to your abs as you reach forward. Okay. Maybe exhale as you reach. Inhale as you reach back. Good. And then we'll bring the right hand to the yoga block. Left hand between the knees. Left hand going towards right ankle. And then exhaling as you come forward. Pushing away from the yoga block with the right hand. And we're keeping the pelvis a little bit untucked here. Okay, so we're not tucking under. I want you to keep more of that glute spreading anterior tilt. Good. Well, we get a lot of rounding through our low back like later in the class. So right here, I want you to get spreading, opening through the glutes. Nice job. Okay, we're going to do I don't know, I just call them fun push-ups. We haven't done them in ages, and I was thinking about that the other day. So I want to make sure we get to them. So you'll remember from a long time ago, we used to do them a lot, but your hands are on your blocks and you're going to send your right leg back behind you. Okay. You may need to adjust where this left knee is depending on your dimensions. Okay. And then what we're doing is you're going to bend your elbows to about a 45-degree angle. This is another example of us going slow down, get your leg nice and high, like really get that leg up, go nice and low. And then I want you to pop up super quick. That's why I call them fun push-ups because I think it's fun. So you're going to go slow on the way down. Sternum is kind of leading the show on the way down. You go as low as you want, and then you pop up nice and quick. Yep. And so you can just kind of play with that, slow down, and then pop up quick. You're in charge of how high that leg goes. Okay. You don't actually have to get it super high, but you could really like use your hamstring and get it super high. It like, there's no, I like them. I think it's really hard to kind of like mess them up. they're pretty like user friendly. You're just lowering at the elbows about 45 degrees and then popping yourself up. You're deciding how low you go, how high the leg goes, all the things. We're going slow down, quick up. Okay. You might start to feel some work in like your left leg, your left glute, your core. Obviously it's going to bias the pec, the shoulders, maybe some lat. Good. Maybe one or two more. One more thing I want to say. Spread your palms out and notice where your body weight is in your hands as you do these. Try to get a little more in your pointer finger and thumb down, like the arch of your hand. It might change the whole thing. Okay, we did a bunch. That was good. So now step your right foot forward in between your hands. And we're going to come into like our 90-90 lunge. And then just grab a dumbbell, actually. So hold over. Okay. So we've got a dumbbell in both hands. You can have your back toes tucked or untucked. Whatever is better for your balance. Whatever is better for your balance. Okay. And we're basically just going to, this is kind of one of those ones we do sometimes that's like a free for all. You're going to just make a big rotation with your torso and kind of get into as many angles as you can without falling over. So I'm just side bending, leaning forward, side bending the other way, thinking like I'm opening the front of my body as I go back. Okay. If I wanted to make this more challenging, I would do this with my dumbbell higher. So I started out with kind of like the simplest version with the dumbbell at the chest. But if I start to reach it up higher and I try to do this, that's going to be totally different. So I don't even have my elbows all the way straight. I just reached it up a little and then reverse directions at some point if you haven't. So I like to think of this as like a core exercise, actually, like a dynamic, like your core has to respond, right? But it's also kind of a stretch for the hips, the spine. Like you might get different like stretch kind of sensations depending on how far you go and what angle you're in. Okay. And like I said, that dumbbell could be at your chest or reaching up. Just make sure you go in both directions. Awesome job. Perfect. Okay. Lose the dumbbell. Plant the hands back on your yoga blocks. Send the right leg all the way back one more time. We'll do a few hip airplanes. So this one, we want to go jean zipper, pelvis, okay? Opening up, turning to the right, knee and toes turning to the right, everything to the right. And then everything turning down and into the left. Jean zipper, knee, toe, in towards the left leg. Think of driving your left knee through your mat as you open up and turn to the right. And then just letting this left glute kind of lengthen as you drop down. If I want to challenge myself here, I can do this with my left arm reaching forward. So it's just going to make the core have to have a little extra stability challenge. You don't have to do that by any means. And you try to keep it going, opening up and then rotating, closing the pelvis. We'll do one more. Super good. Left hand comes down to block. Right knee comes to meet left knee. Tucking toes under. You're going to breathe in your tabletop. Breathe out. Lift your knees an inch off the ground. Okay. I want you to inhale to like a bent knee downward dog. So imagine someone wrapped their hands around your hips and pulled you back. So how much length can you get through your spine? Bent knee, downward dog. Exhale, back forward to your knee hover. Inhale, hips up and back to the left. So my left knee is a little straighter than my right. I'm shifted into my left hip. Rock forward, exhale to knee hover. Inhale, up and back to the right. I'm shifted into my right hip, into my right glute. Exhale, the knees come all the way down. Great. And now you're going to send your left leg all the way back behind you. We'll revisit our fun push-ups here. So spread through the palms. Elbows, you want think 45 degrees. So not here, middle of the way here for that elbow angle. Going to lead with the sternum and start to lower with control. Lower with control. Leg goes up as high as you want, and then push away from those yoga blocks to come up. We're going slow down. Take like 4, 5, 6 seconds to lower, and then pop up nice and quick. Good. You're in charge of how low you go, though. Nice job. Notice if you're like hiking your shoulders up super close to your ears, try to let them move away from the ears. It's not that you have to yank them. Just notice if you hike them up. Think of more like you're dragging your hands toward your body as you pull yourself into that position instead of pushing your hands forward. Okay? And then always staying aware of what part of your hand you're on as you lower. Good. Slow down, quick up. Beautiful. Yeah, you'll get a lot more out of it if you go slow on the way down. Okay. When you're ready, left foot steps forward in between hands. Make sure you have good knee padding. Okay. You got your dumbbell. We'll start with those big rotations. So you're just side bending, rounding forward. You're basically just making a big kind of slow circle with your whole spine. You can always feel free to linger in any angle that feels like a good stretch. Obviously not going so far that you fall over. Okay. And then if it's more work to do this with your dumbbell, reaching up a little bit. So that's an option if you want it. I never said how many on each side, just kind of go intuitively, couple in one direction, couple in the other direction. And if balance is a big challenge, like don't make the circle big, just kind of stay over your knee and you can still get a lot out of it. Your core's still going to have to respond to the motion. It also might be helpful to drag the ground together with your legs on the mat, create some tension there. Imagine you were squeezing a ball between your legs. That could help with the balance too. Great job. Hands back to blocks. Right knees under right hip, left legs going all the way back behind us again. We have our airplane hip opener. So pelvis rotating left, hip, knee, and toe turning out, and then pelvis rotating down to the right. Okay, so hip, knee, and toe turns away from your right leg. Hip, knee, and toe turns towards the right leg. I'm not like really turning my rib cage a ton. Like I actually want you to try to imagine your sternum continuing to face the ground here is a little different. You actually will feel like a different like sensation through your obliques and stuff if you don't turn your rib cage with you. If you want to add the right arm reaching forward along your side your right ear, you can, but it's not like necessary. Good. Stay connected. Like don't think of this as necessarily like just your pelvis and your hip moving. Your core is what's stabilizing you here. Your core and your spine have to do a lot of work. So you just want to be aware of what's happening in your belly here. Okay. Right hand down, left knee comes to meet right. This time we're just going to tuck the toes and send the hips all the way up and back to downward dog, and then go right for feet to hands at the top of the mat. We're going to round the spine, keep the knees bent, and then just rotate the body over the right leg, over the left leg. So this is where you can really find some length through that lower back. It's totally fine to be tucked under. Just keep your knees bent. You can take a really good exhale and try to get your like obliques to kick on here as well a little bit. It's like the more you round your spine, the more chance you have of that. And then load your body weight. I do want it to be a weight shift. So you're weight shifting into your left foot, weight shifting into your right foot. Yep. And then we'll come through center, root down your feet into your mat, and then roll all the way up. Awesome. Okay. So feet are like hips width-ish. Okay. We're going to, you can stand like over the middles of your feet if you can find that. I would say middle to back, like middle of the foot to the heel is like where you want to be. We're going to spin the palms away from us, like away from each other, and then reach the arms all the way up. Okay. We've been doing this with dumbbells lately, but we'll just go no dumbbell today. So reach up. Imagine someone lifted your rib cage off your pelvis vertically, but not flaring the ribs. Keep that position as you'll side bend a little to the right, shift your hips a little to the left, pull up through center, side bend a little to the left, shift your hips a little to the right, come up through center, spin your palms away from each other, and then lower all the way down. Nice. So make sure your feet are like hips width, maybe a little bit wider. You can always play with that. Toes are spread, and you're going to soften your knees and shift your weight right over the middles of your feet. Okay. Soften your knees, shift your weight over the middle of your foot. From here, you're going to imagine you're doing a row, and you're going to pull your elbows next to your ribs as you hinge your butt back. And I do want you to give a little more of a knee bend than a typical hinge. So let the knees bend a little bit more, and then think, okay, how long can I make my spine? I think that's a really helpful cue here. Like your sternum to your tailbone, okay? How long can you get the area in between those two points? Okay, and you're kind of sticking your butt up towards the ceiling. Yep, as you retract your lower core. And then think of spreading the ground apart with your feet as you stay forward now. We're forward in the middles of the feet. Keep thinking of those glutes spreading apart. Good. And then all you're going to do is keep your pelvis stationary. Don't move the pelvis, but reach your left hand across to the right. So I rotated at my rib cage, but not my pelvis. And then pull your left elbow back next to your ribs. Reach your right hand across to the left, and then pull it back. If you're starting to feel your low back come up a little higher, keep spreading the ground apart with your feet. Okay, so you might be a little too low. You can also bend your knees more, and that should help. Like we don't want to be feeling this in the low back. Maybe like if you felt it a tiny, tiny bit, it's nothing to worry about, but you want it more in the glutes and the back of the legs. Okay, so play around with your position if you need. We'll just do one more. Reaching, and then go ahead, push through your feet, stand all the way up, and then let's swirl it out for a sec. Nice job. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit dynamic here for a second. So grab a dumbbell. Yeah, you want a dumbbell for this. So we've done different types of swings. Okay, I just want to come nice and close and make sure you can see what my arm is doing. So this is one where you don't want to hit yourself in the leg, but if you do, it shouldn't hurt too bad, but just don't hit yourself in the leg. So if I'm facing forward and I have my right foot in front and my left foot in back, I'm in a gate stance. My dumbbell, my palm is facing my leg. We're going to be swinging it outside of our front leg. So just practice that a few times on your own. Right foot in front, left foot in back, soft knees. I'm loaded over my leg. My arm is like, my left arm has to reach across my body and then swing outside the leg without me hitting myself in the leg. This is like the hardest part of the movement. So just practice that a little. And I want you to then start to sit into that hip. Sit into that right glute, that right hip. Yeah, let's see. And make sure everyone's getting good. Yeah, good. That's right. Yeah. Think of the angle going straight back. That will help. Like it's straight back instead of like out to the side. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to get that dumbbell somewhat back to the right hip without hitting yourself. That's the goal. From there, as you can see, I'm sitting into my hip here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a step forward and bring the dumbbell to my shoulder. So we did a variation of this on Friday, but without this swing. So I just step. Okay. Now, when I'm pushed off my front leg, I got to throw this is key. This will help you so much. Throw the dumbbell out in front of me and then go into my swing. And I can take a couple of swings here if I want to, and then step forward. Or I can swing and pull. So when I say pull, I mean pull the dumbbell to your shoulder. Swing and pull. So I'm sitting into that right glute, pulling the dumbbell to my shoulder. Right heel down, and then left heel down. So our back heel is always lifted. Good. If for some reason you're having trouble, you can practice this without a dumbbell. So it's like, if you were hitting yourself, I would practice it without the dumbbell, but sometimes like you actually need a little bit of load to make the rhythm work. So that's why I had to start with the dumbbell, but you could try it. The right arm is just doing nothing. It's just chilling. You could either tuck it in or keep it by your side. Good. So it is going to depend on our ability to open up this right glute a little. You're sitting into that right glute and then stepping. Okay, take a little rest. Let that go for a sec. Okay, and then we're going to switch sides. So your dumbbell will go in your left hand. Just practice the swing because this side could be different. So just practice this piece, right? Make sure your palm is facing your leg. Okay, try not to angle it like this. That's going to mess you up. If you try to go across your body, you want to go back. You want to go back next to the hip. And you want to sit into that left glute. Sit into that left glute, hinging your butt back slightly. Okay, once you feel good about it, or you might just stay here. That's fair too. Don't hit yourself in the knee. And then you're going to step forward and pull the dumbbell to the shoulder. So you actively pull. And then this is the key, right? You throw it off of you, throw it away because it's such a light dumbbell. Throw it away as you step back and then swing. You might need a few like practice swings here till you feel ready to then take a step again. Or you might just pull yourself right into it if you get the motion. Okay, you can do it without the dumbbell. There's like a million ways to kind of practice it. But like I said, it'll mess you up if you try to swing too far wide. I want you to try to go back towards your hip. So there we have like diagonal lines of tissue that go from shoulder to hip. So we're kind of working on that right now, getting those connections. Good. I'm not dropping my sternum a ton when I swing. Not a ton. Maybe try a couple more. Really good. Okay. That'll get the heart rate up. Okay. And then, let that go. It was great. We're going to look up, look down, round the spine, roll it on down, lose that dumbbell, plant the hands. We're going to step back and then find a child's pose. So any child's pose you need right now, just let that go. If you liked it, great. If you didn't, that's okay. Let it go. We'll move on. And I bet we'll revisit it again in a few classes and it will click. You know, like that's how those coordination rhythmic ones end up going. It sometimes just takes our brains a little bit to catch up. And then they always click eventually. Okay, so softening the belly here, softening your breath, letting the heart rate come down a bit. Really nice. Okay. Let's see how I want to. When we're going to go into like our unilateral work. This is where, not immediately, but you might decide you want your tall foam roller for balance help or the wall. So I just want to give you that like heads up. You might not need it, but you might. So we're going to climb up on our blocks again though. One hand on each block. We're going to tuck the toes and send the hips up and back to downward facing dog. And then we're going to walk the feet together. Send your left leg up and back. Left leg up and back. And then just once, we're going to rock forward, round the spine, draw the knee in towards you, and then step your left foot in between your hands. So you can move your blocks to the highest height. Okay, you can feel free to use them for help, but step your back foot in a little. If I was way back here, I just move it in a little. And now my toes are facing forward with my left foot. I'm going to lift my torso all the way up. Okay, so I'm going to just demo it without holding on, but at any point you decide you want to hold on, like, I guess maybe I'm not going to demo. You can do this kind of thing. I just want to give you the visual. You can have your roller, you can have your wall, okay? It's going to be a bit of a balance challenge, so you might need it. Now I would put it under probably the left hand, okay? But what we're gonna do, left knee is bent, right knee is on the straighter side, okay? Now, when your right leg is back, I want you to just be on your tiptoe, not have the toes tucked under, just be on the tiptoe, okay? I'm gonna do it with no arms at first, so you can just get the lower body. But make sure you're hinging, like lean your body over this leg, okay? Now, I'm gonna start to draw my right knee in towards my chest. It doesn't have to come super far, but I'm pulling my right knee. And as I do that, my left knee is gonna pull back a little. It's not gonna lock. I'm just pulling my left knee back as my right knee comes in. And then I'm going right back to square one. If I wanna do this, I can hold my roller. So from the front, my left knee is moving towards straight as my right knee comes in. And then my left knee rebends as my right toe steps back. Okay. I'm not moving my torso at all. That's why this is hard. So I'm staying loaded over my left leg. And you don't have to move a ton. Like you could just do it like this and you could get a lot out of it. But you can also work on pulling this knee in as far as it'll go. And you're just doing a little pullback of the left knee, then a little rebending, okay? If I wanted to, I could do my arms. So it's gonna load the heck out of this left leg. It should be burning. It should be. If it's not, please let me know after this. Good. Yes, like that. Okay, take a rest. Yes, you can go ahead and shake out that left leg. Very nice. Now we've got our sliders. So we're going to be doing some lunge slider bicep curl. The mouthful. The right foot is going to go on the slider. You're going to need both dumbbells. So grab all the things. So for the sliders, you can have your left foot on your mat and your right foot on the slider, or you could just be totally on your floor. Like you don't necessarily need to stay on your mat. All right. I think I'll go like head cut off a little and make sure you can see my lower body. The good news is like we've done many different variations of this before, so I don't think it's going to be super complicated. But so left foot is on the floor or your mat, right foot's on the slider, and you can go ahead and lift your right heel up immediately. You're not going to have the right heel down at all, okay? Dumbbells are right in front of you. So as we slide out, okay, we're going to bicep curl and go fairly slow. We're sliding out. Now, as I want you to lean your body probably forward over this front leg and then drag your back foot in as you uncurl. So it's okay to do a little lean forward, like a little hingy. Yeah, as you lunge and then as you bring it in, uncurl. You could stay a little more upright. It would look like this, and I'd bend my knee more and I'd stay upright, and then I'd drag it in. So it could be hingy, your back knee doesn't bend as much, okay? Or it could be more lungy. I bend my back knee a ton, I stay upright, and I go like this. I wouldn't like, just kind of go with what feels best in your body. I just wanted to give you those two visuals. And then if you wanted a real challenge, you could lift your front heel and do this whole thing with your front heel up. It will be a huge co-contraction for that whole front leg. It'll start to have the calf burn, but if the balance is too tricky on that, just keep your front heel down. You don't have to lift that heel. So you're sliding out and then pulling in. Nice job, maybe one or two more. Super good. Awesome. Okay, lose the slider. Yep. And we'll just come onto our mat. Shift your weight over your left leg. We're going to do one spinal roll down. We round your spine as much as you can. And then I want you to just bend your knees, plant your weights down, plant your palms down, step back to high plank, and then control your body all the way to your mat. We're on the belly here. Okay, we're going to bend the knees and gently sway the legs side to side. Let all that craziness go. Let the body relax. Beautiful. Go for a few ankle circles. Maybe you're noticing the differences in your left leg versus your right leg. Should definitely be feeling like a noticeable difference there. Awesome. And then we'll do a little bit of neck work here. So you can just, let's do it from Sphinx today. So come into Sphinx on your forearms. Yeah. And you can do palms down or palms up. Go for the one that feels a little more unfamiliar to you. So if trying to get your full palm flat here in just like regular Sphinx feels challenging, stick with it. If it's really easy for you, maybe you try doing this with your palms up. Okay. If they're both the same, then just pick whichever. Okay. And then lift your rib cage up towards the ceiling and think of pulling your heart forward through your hands. Once you're in your Sphinx here, okay, we're going to go left ear moving towards left shoulder and right shoulder pulling away from right ear. And then right ear moving towards right shoulder and left shoulder pulling away from left ear. And you just go back and forth like that. Gentle, like you don't want to be yanking. I know I said pull, but we'll say like gentle, soft pulling of shoulders away from ears. And you just kind of notice what that feels like side to side. Okay. And then we're going to go chin to left collarbone. So you're flexing through the neck, chin to left collarbone. Okay. And then you're going to keep your chin down towards your chest, but rotate it over towards your right collarbone. And then go back over towards the left. So the chin doesn't actually have to be touching the collarbone or the chest. I'm just using them as like landmarks. Good. So think of the shape your chin is moving in right now. It's going left to right, but our chin is pointed down. So now I want you to do that gently. Point your chin like up to the right and then move it over to the left. So now you're doing the same motion you were just doing, but now that neck is in a little extension. I wouldn't go to your max end range, but you're just getting movement there. You look your eyeballs like look up. That will help. Okay, nice. And then go ahead and come to center and then try to keep your eyes focused on a spot in front of you that's not moving and turn your head as far left as you can without taking your eyes off your spot. And then turn your head as far right without taking your eyes off your spot. So it's not going to go very far, okay? Because if you kept going, your eyes would come off. So we're rotating at the head, but we're not taking the eyes off the spot. Just do that maybe one more time back and forth. And now let your eyes come off the spot and turn your head as far to that direction as you can. And then as far to the other direction as you can. So now you're trying to see behind you, like see your foot. Trying not to move anything else. Good. From there, we're going to tuck the toes. I want you to push your knees down, lift your hips up. Palms, again, can still be up or down. So now we're in a knees down plank. Okay? You don't want your hips way up here. You don't want them way down here. We want them pretty much in line with the rib cage and the head, which is a challenge. We're going to hold for a few breaths here. Okay? You can retract your belly button without squeeze. Like you might start to feel glutes potentially, but it shouldn't be from glute clenching. Okay? So try and make sure you're not squeezing your butt. Think of your rib cage lifting up towards the ceiling as collarbones point forward. Okay? If dolphin is a part of your practice and it feels good for you, you can go ahead and start to lift your knees and your hips and walk your feet in. If not, we'll just meet you in a child's pose in like 2 seconds. Either option is great. So just walk your feet in if you're doing dolphin. Try to move your rib cage towards your thighs. Think about spine and hips more than knees, meaning like you want to lengthen your spine and get your hips up and back. And then last priority would be to then pull the knees back for that back of the leg stretch. Good. And then knees down, untuck toes, hands can come down by feet. Relax your forehead, relax your shoulders. Maybe you find total stillness. Maybe you find a gentle swaying side to side. And then arms are reaching forward, climbing up on our blocks. We're almost there. Very close, very close. We're almost there. So hands on blocks, toes tuck. Hips are going up and back. Okay, down dog, feet come together just one time, right legs going up and back. Then we're rocking forward. rounding the spine, knee towards nose, stepping right foot forward in between hands. I just like to move the yoga blocks to the highest height here. Maybe need a little break for a sec. And then bring your left foot in a little closer. You don't want it super far. And then you're going to lift your torso up. So I want to emphasize when you do this, right? You're leaning forward over this right leg. My body weight is like right in the middle of my right foot. At no point am I moving my torso once I'm stable here. If I want to hold on to something for balance, I can. Okay. I'm going to come onto my tiptoe of my back leg. Now, without tucking or untucking or moving my pelvis, I pull my left knee towards me as I pull my right knee back a little. And then I rebend my right knee as I tap my left toe down. Okay. If I want to get the arms going, I can do opposite arm, opposite leg, or I can just keep my arms by my sides and not do that. Okay. And like I said, I could also hold on to something if I needed to. Whoops, now I have my arms back. There we go. Good. So front knee pulls back as back knee comes in, and then front knee rebends as you tap your back toe to the ground. So it should light up the back of this standing leg, right? I'm not moving my trunk at all. And this front knee might feel like it barely straightens. That's fine. That's totally fine. Great job. Okay. Yeah, that's probably good. And then shake it out. Shake it out, shake it out. Okay, we just got our sliders, and then we're going to be able to wind everything down. So grab your 2 dumbbells. Okay, so now make sure you put your left foot on the slider. Okay, we don't want to do the same side again. And I would say my slider's a little on the bigger side. If you had something smaller, like you pulled your towel up more, like that's even better. Mine's just kind of big. So right foot is planted. Right foot is planted. Left heel is on this, or left foot is on the slider, but left heel is lifted. Okay. And I'm going to start to bend my front knee. I'm going to slide away as I bicep curl. And then I'm going to pull myself in as I uncurl. Okay. I'm kind of thinking about my shoulder blades staying wide and my rib cage staying expanded. Okay. So I'm kind of like trying not to let my whole body feel like it's compressing down against gravity. Like I'm staying tall. Okay. Option, like I said, you could stay more upright. That's going to be a lot more of a back knee bend. It's going to be a little more quad. And then if I hinge forward, it's going to be a little more front leg glute. Just a little bit of a longer position. I'm good with whatever you want to do. If I want, I can lift my front heel, and that's going to change the angles of it as well. And it's really going to light up that front leg in a different way. I curl as I go back. I uncurl as I drag it. Yes, you don't want to go too far out. You want to make like, you might just go to like here and then pull it in. Okay. You don't want to get stuck back there and not be able to pull it in. There you go. Good. So you curl as you slide and then uncurl as you pull it in. Beautiful. Lose the slider, come back to the mat. Let's go ahead and look up, look down, round the spine, roll it down, plant the palms. We'll step back to high plank, control the knees down. Go ahead, swing your legs out and around in front of you. And then let's do a really nice intentional shake here. You can bounce your legs up and down. You might get the arms in the mix. Just shake everything out. Super nice way to kind of release anything that is not helpful. Really good reset for the nervous system. Shaking is probably the best thing we can do this week. Yeah. So it's kind of like go a little longer than you want to. Kind of like, okay, I'm over it. Go like a few seconds longer than that. Yeah. Just bouncing the arms, shaking the legs out. Great. Usually that feels nice after. So then go into a few rock and rolls. You can do weighted or unweighted. Okay. I do think holding the dumbbells can help smoothen it out, but totally up to you. We want it to be as smooth as possible. Okay. Sometimes adding blankets behind you is really helpful too. Just trying to intentionally round extra over any clunky parts. Or like, I think I mentioned this only once before, but like I notice in my body, like my right side feels pretty rounded, but I feel like my left side is almost clunkier or further from the ground. So sometimes I'll intentionally round extra on my left and actually just roll on the left side of my spine. And that seems to kind of help and feel good. So you might play around a little bit with that. You might roll a little more on one side, which could help. We just have different areas of like compression. So anyway, if you sense that, you can always experiment with it. Okay. Great job. So lose the dumbbells if you had them, and then let's come on all the way down to our backs, and feel free to just kind of plop down. Oh, re-arrive here, take a nice exhale, we'll full body stretch. How far apart can you get your fingers and your toes? Big reaching stretch here. Big reaching stretch. Nice. And then arms will come out in a T. We're going to bend the knees. Actually, sorry. You're going to keep your right leg straight on the mat, and bring your left knee over your left hip. So we look like this. Yeah. So this is one, I just like to give a few extra like kind of intentional cues. So you're going to cross your left leg over your body and start to roll onto your right side. And then I actually want you to feel your left arm come up off the ground, the shoulder and the wrist. So it's like I roll over, and then when I feel my left arm come up, I pause. Now, how far apart can you get your left knee from your left hand? So I'm reaching my left hand like up at a diagonal slightly, and then I'm trying to get my left knee to keep reaching to the right. Okay, that's just going to give me a little bit of an extra length through my left side, and I keep reaching that knee as much as I can, and then I just roll back. If that doesn't work for you or doesn't feel comfortable, it's really not a big deal. We're just trying to kind of wind things down and do some like feel good stuff for the body. So you can always just kind of experiment at different like angles, or not letting that arm lift up. That might feel better for you. So just keep that in mind. You can take all of this with a grain of salt. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and shift the hips to the right a bit, lengthen the left leg long, right knee comes over right hip. We're crossing right leg over left. So we're rolling onto our left side slightly as the right arm lifts up off the ground a bit. And now it's like I reach my right arm up a little at that diagonal, and it's like, okay, how far apart can I get my right hand from my right knee? I'm actually trying to shift my right knee more to the left, and then I just roll back. Okay, you could get a stretch like anywhere in this right side body, the right pec, and through the arm. You might feel it in your lower back on that right side. Yeah, good. Beautiful. And then we'll just come on to the back. And then this one's a little subtler. So I'm going to say turn your head to the left and right. But when I say that, I want you to keep it really, really subtle, and just bend your elbows, bring them by your sides. And my knees are bent, my feet are flat. And then I want you to tilt your chin down slightly, not like all the way to the chest by any means, but just do a baby chin tuck. And then I want you to take your eyeballs and look left, and let your head rock to the left side as I reach my left arm up. So lift your left shoulder blade off the ground. Okay, keep reaching the left arm straight up. My eyeballs and my head are slightly left, and my chin is slightly tucked. Now bring everything to center, eyeballs center too. And now I gently roll to the right side of my head. Eyeballs are looking right, and my arm is reaching straight up. And then come back to center and do that one more time. Eyeballs left, head left, left arm reaching up, which is actually turning the sternum to the right. Everything center. One more to the other side. So you're just on the right side of your skull now. Chin is still a little tucked. Great job. Okay. And then go into like a happy baby, or you could put your block under your pelvis. Like we'll take like a minute or so here, and just go into any shape, position, adjustment that would feel really good for you, help your practice feel complete. Like you might need to do some like wrist or forearm curls, or get into the ankles, or just like roll around a bit. Like I always say, you don't have to do something that has a name or anything we've done before. Just kind of intuitively let your body move around and get out any last minute niggles or kinks or anything like that. And I love like taking that opportunity to stretch out the face, open and close the jaw. That can be like Very interesting to do. And then as you feel ready, you can let yourself settle into a shape for some final relaxation. So if it's cold there, you might need a blanket or some cushioning. You might want to put something on top of your abdomen for a little grounding energy, or blocks behind the knees. Okay, and let the body get super heavy, super soft, and you'll start to sink into your mat a little deeper. Relaxing the face and the jaw, relaxing shoulders, letting the chest be open, the belly soft, heavy through the pelvis, and the legs, arms, relaxing fingers and toes. Taking a few moments to let the body relax in a little bit of stillness. And you can always feel free to stay here as long as you like, but if you've got to make moves, you can start to wiggle fingers and toes, draw the knees in, roll around a bit, and then make your way into a seat. And we'll just come together one more time and reach the arms up, grow nice and tall, float the palms together, down through heart center. We'll bow forward in gratitude for practicing together this morning. It was so nice to see everyone. Let me know if you have any questions. That was a hard one. And I'll see you next week. Great job.